old and sore. What's up, guys? Oh, I knew it. Went and messed up and put it on the wrong side. Give me just a second. You would think I'd have that figured out by now. Nah, no, I do it every time. So. What's up, John? Ah, yeah. I'm a minute early. I figured I'm late 90% of the time. Show up early. But, yeah, how's everybody been? Anything cool going on? What's up, BTS? Yeah, you did. That's awesome. It amazes me. You can tell the people that the time works for because you guys always seem to be here. It's so cool. Kind of gives us. If I showed up and there was nobody ever here, most of the time it's kind of a no-show. Even if it was being watched afterwards, it's just kind of silly to do the interaction when there's nobody to interact with. And I've had live feeds like that, and that's what kind of burnt me out from doing them. But now that they allow you to kind of schedule it ahead of time, it's way cool. Like, it kind of gives people more of a chance to catch it and actually be there. So that's been awesome. Chris, what's going on, bud? What's up, Billy? I finally got the rest of my skin. Oh, dude, that's cool. That's awesome, man. Congrats. Take it easy, though, you know. Houndbounder, what's going on? Yeah, I've been thinking, like, for the live feeds, maybe a lot of the times, maybe we won't do it every time, but I'm gonna do a, kind of, like, we can start the live feeds by discussing a video, and they usually won't be long videos. I'll try to pick kind of shorter ones, but in the community page, I will, and I kind of messed up this time. I thought I already shared it and put it on the community page before I set this, but that's what I'll try to do at the same time where I set the alert for the live feed. Also check the community page because I'll put a link or share a video that will discuss to start the live feed. So we can kind of promote some other people's pages and talk about some of the stuff, like if a real good video is going out, maybe we discuss it early, kind of like this, before it ends up going viral or something, but yeah, I wanted to discuss Reg's new video. So if you don't follow Reg Coates already, I want to be able to put it into the community page so you can actually watch the video, and then we can discuss what the video was, what was going on in it. And the particular video for this one was a climbing device, which is new. But I want to talk about that, and I also just kind of want to touch bases on a few things because I know a lot of guys are kind of getting into this kind of work new, and maybe discuss a mishap or an injury that's happened because of this kind of work, and discuss the steps or procedures that should have been taken to prevent it. So maybe we'll try to do something like that often on the live feeds. That way I'm kind of giving something informational that may help somebody or save somebody one of these times. So I don't get a chance to do that a lot in my videos, so I want to kind of do that with the live feeds. Let me catch up on comments and then we'll go. Unless somebody gets me off onto something. You guys know I'm ADD, so don't take much. Okay, just another day in paradise is built right on. I'm getting some rain. I know we got a little bit too, which now it's real humid. kind of nasty. I'm sorry, that was supposed to be tree climbing equipment. Whoa, okay. Okay, that's cool. Right on. Anything, you know, if you're able to get back at it, that is just awesome, dude. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Chris. The interaction, I kind of want to make, I don't want to make this so just kind of spur of the moment. Sometimes it's awkward and stuff like that. So if I end up having topics that I want to discuss, but the interaction between me and you guys is really why I'm doing the live feeds. I could do this in a video form and edit it and have all kinds of gadgets and gadgets with it with nice fades and stuff, and it would probably be quicker than trying to do it in the live feed and probably less stressful because I could just do it as I want. But yeah, I think it'll be cool, and then it'll kind of start the live feed with a good interaction because we'll all kind of know what we're talking about. So I'm gonna really try to do that, and I think it'd be cool to just promote some other pages, so you guys can sneak onto the community page, you know, before we start the live, whenever you want. Check to see if I've put a video up there. Click that, watch that video, then you know what we're gonna start the live feed with. You know what we're gonna talk about. So. I watched Reggie's video and it's interesting. The device, yeah, okay, cool. Well, that's what we're going to talk about here real quick, and then you know, it's kind of very secretive right now. So I mean, it ain't like I have a bunch of info on it, but I believe that I already kind of understand the device. So, but I mean, I could be wrong. I just saw that video. That was cool, man. I think it was done by. Yeah, Reg. I don't know if Reg owns Stein or just is like heavily involved with them, but Reg has designed a lot of the products you see that come from there, like the bollards and stuff. He's a really smart guy. He's a really, really smart guy, but he's a kind of a guy that doesn't say much, but when he says something, definitely listen because it's like those are the type of guys that you don't see on YouTube. That speaks little, but the things he does make a big impact usually. And then he's not gonna go out and blab it all over the place. You're gonna have to kind of find him. That's he's cool with it if you like him, but it seems like he's absolutely fine with you not liking him, and that I really respect. But he come out with a new device. It is by Stein. I don't know if it's is it Steen, but it's got to be Stein. It has to be. It's just a different country, so the E and the I make a different sound than it would here, I guess. Taco Bell for dinner, awesome. I think I'm gonna. We have a. I don't know if you guys have Casey's General Stores where you live, but ours make pizzas. Well, the one that I live by now makes pizzas, and they make a really good pizza. So I like their breakfast pizza. That's probably. I think I'm gonna order one here in a little bit. That way I can do something quick after the live feed because I won't have a whole bunch of time. That way I can hang out with the wife and stuff. So. Oh, I didn't even see Jared. What's up, man? Powder. I had hamburger, steak, and grilled onions. Dang, Billy, making us all hungry. Sounds a lot better than this stuff. Oh, Rob Bob. Oh, okay. Now we can get down to business. We got Rob Bob. Let's get it. All right. So, if you watched the video, I imagine probably some of you didn't because I kind of should have laid this out before we did the live feed so you could have watched it and known. But for further reasons, he put out a video. He doesn't speak one time in it. He doesn't give you a close-up view of the device. He doesn't give you any specifics about the device, but he lets you know the important things right from the get-go. So I'm probably not going to get everything right here, like the layout, because I only watched it twice. Like, I wish I would have thought about this ahead of time. This was all kind of spur of the moment. But so the device can be used. Well, first of all, the device is midline attachable, which for us climbers is a big deal. For those that don't understand what midline attachable is, when you have a line stationary that's anchored and it's you know, when you need, and even when you're double roped, you have an anchor end and then the rope goes up over it, comes back down, and you need to attach something here to the midline. You need something that's able to be attached and not be able, with the zigzag, you have to feed the rope into it at the bottom and then pull all the slack out all the way to the top. The better, quicker, more effective devices a lot of times are midline attachable. So you have the akimbo, you have the unisender, you have any Prusik hitch climber setup, the rope wrench, I believe the rope runner. So the majority of them make them midline attachable. That way when you're up in the tree and you need a quick connection or you want to reset and stuff, you don't have to do everything. It's not so complicated. You're able to click in really easy. The gree, which we'll discuss here in a second. I do want to keep up with the comments too, though. So, the leg, I think it's doing good now. I think we're all right. The turbo's here too, dude. This is gonna be a good one. We got Wayne. But Bulldog is midline. Okay, yeah, you're totally right. That's Wayne. I want that device. If I was to get a device, I want that. But I think I understand why they come up with this device. Why Stein did. So let me keep going there. Midline attachable is first thing he lets you know. It can be used double rope or single rope, which is really nice because why would you want that? Well, when you go up single rope, or you go up double rope and you want to be able to switch to single rope when you get up there, but sometimes as you're doing removal, you want to be able to retrieve your line. So you can't do a canopy anchor and just leave it there without making a full retrieval system. A lot of guys will, to make that quicker, will just make their system double so that they can come down, unclip, pull the rope out. That's the reason that I usually see guys do it for. So it being able to go midline, be used in double, because some guys don't want to switch to single line, and it can also be used single. I thought all that was cool. That's all been really kind of done and is done with almost every one of the products that comes out now, for the most part. That's why we had the list of devices there. If you asked that same thing a couple years ago, it would have been a couple things. But I'm sure there's some that I even missed. You have the rad, the gree, and you got the spider jack. There's a lot of them. So the big thing that I seen when he got up into the tree, he says it has no setback. Now, what setback is you're tending slack as you're going up. Or if you have your neck tether on and it's pulling the device up, or if you're pulling the rope up and pulling your own slack out. Usually when you go to set your weight back down into the system, because to tend slack and to move up, you take weight off the system. Now, when you set back down in the system, the rope wrench, depending on what actual knot you use, the rope wrench itself has a sit back to where it's like this. You sit down into it, it engages that rope. So we moved about that much. Now, certain Prusik knots, if they have big crosses in them and they're not tight and there's not a lot, they can have quite a bit of setback into them. So when you put that together, you have the wrench and you have a kind of a janky, kind of like a distal or something like that. There's so much setback that's scary, and that can cause things to slip when you have that drop, and climbers just don't want that. Now, I haven't used the unisender, so that I can't really speak on, and I don't feel like I need to use the rope runner because it's a rope wrench in, mechanical form, is my opinion. So that system, as it combines together, it goes through all that for that to stretch back out. You have some setback. So now, you guys, I don't know what your experience is. Is anybody had, okay, what system and what, even the zigzag, as it goes up, those links can press. It's really small. But when you go to set back into the system, the link system ends up being about this long. So the difference between them two is the setback. What devices have you guys had the best luck when it comes to setback? And I have one that okay, I've changed my knot in my rope wrench, and if, like when I use the XT as opposed to the VT, that cross in the back stiffens that system up so it almost stays open so that there's less setback when you go to engage it. So as far as pressing, that's the thing I've noticed. For better setback is a better knot. Having some crossing or some twisting in the line to stiffen. That's my experience with it. That's the only way I've been able to decrease the setback, and when I use the rope wrench. The only thing I've ever had that's had no setback has been the Gree. And the reason that is because it's a loaded cam system, and the only difference is the rope comes through like right here. Okay, it travels through here. There's a cam here, and like there's the what would be like the micro pulley almost. Okay, so this cam system has a lever back here. So as you set down, you put weight into the system here, it engages that cam and it presses it onto the rope and it pinches it. So as you're tending that up, there's no setback in a loaded cam system. That has to be what they're using. They're using some sort of a loaded cam system because I'm watching him disengage with a trigger. The things I don't like about the Gree are the plastic handle, seems like junk, and I would prefer there to be two loaded cams so that there's never a chance for slipping if you was to shock load that at all, slip or anything. That's what worries me about that because everything's slick, it doesn't have teeth, so the loaded cam can totally, in my opinion, could slip. So that's what I think they're doing there. I think they're loaded cams along the lines of what's being done with the Akimbo, I think. There's loaded cams in that, and they're put into a configuration that is just like the Bulldog Bone, like you were talking about. So the two, running the rope in that configuration helps and allows you to put weight onto it and be able to travel a single line. So adding loaded cams to that also makes, having two of them, when you hit the trigger, I think it'll lessen the quick drop. So the Gree has a bunch of drop in it, and that's the part I don't like about the Gree. So oh, Billy, yeah, he does. He's inside. I fed him some treats and I ran away. I used the Unicenter, but I don't like the setback. Yeah, see, there's a lot of setback in that stuff because those things have to engage. So, Dan, what's up, man? VR Ridge Code's coming out with a new device, I think, combining or climbing devices. Yeah, yeah, that's what we're talking about. Um, no, you're good, BR. Yeah, I think it's got to be loaded cam systems. I think they're into a configuration that's better and less. Like, I think it's along the lines of what's being done with the Akimbo. So if you've seen the Akimbo, it's along those lines. It's working off the same system, but it looks like they've maybe strengthened the handle too, which is the biggest deal for me. So I'm really excited about it. I want to try it. Um, we'll get into just talking now because I kind of just wanted to talk about that, and then let you guys know what I thought, and then we'll go into the stuff I think climbers should watch out for, because I'm like running everybody off with my info talk. I'm sure people afterwards will like it, but yeah, the runner's awesome. Dan, I think if it didn't cost so much, I'd probably already have one. But Steve, what's up, man? I like the akimbo for setback. Do you? Okay. Yeah. See, I've not tried the akimbo either. So, but I think it running in that configuration that's similar to the Bulldog Bone. That's why that rope runs through. It runs through one loaded cam in the top and back around, and oh, or it may only have a single loaded cam at the bottom. I don't. I like I said, I've not used the akimbo, but I imagine when you compress the two, there has to be a cam in there somewhere. It must probably only have one, but it's cool. The Stein just looks cool. There's something going on with that. I'm really curious uh, what Reg and Stein has really done with that, because it looks to be incredibly compact, and everything he talked about just sounded and I was watching. Regis doesn't seem like a very small guy, and I'm watching him use it, and the smoothness that is traveling down the rope with his weight. Like, if you've never tried, if you've ever gotten on a device and it gets sap in it, or you get out on a rope or a device and it's just rained and everything's swollen and it's just gripping like crazy and you're bouncing, and when you finally get it to give a little, it drops like crazy. That's how the gree works when you're going full body pressure on it and trying to engage that plastic handle. It drops all of a sudden because it doesn't have any teeth to slowly, it doesn't even have ridges to like stop and cause some friction. It's smooth. So, I don't know. I'm really, really curious. I want to know. I know that there's things that could be done to that gree that could make that a great device to use. I think Akimbo tried to do it, but I think that weird configuration they run it into is too stretched out and bulky, and it has issues when you run into sap. So that's probably all I'll really talk about that. We'll move on to something else. You would love the Rope Runner Pro. It functions and feels a lot like the zigzag, but it's midline attachable. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've seen, Jared, that guys do use that in dual rope too, and that would be the thing that would kind of probably sell me on it. Like a device that I could use mid or dual without any addition of any wrench or anything would be kind of cool. But if I'm being honest, I feel myself moving back where, and the Stein has kind of got me excited, where devices are kind of, I'm kind of moving, I feel like I'm moving back. Like I want to use my Prusik and my rope wrench, or just run, the other day I ran dual rope on the zigzag for no reason, just because I wanted to. So, yeah, Dan, I try. I try. It could, what's funny is like I could be absolutely wrong. Reg could be sitting there, no, Reg don't laugh. Reg could be sitting there laughing in his head. He has too dry of a sense of humor to laugh out loud, I think. But he could be laughing in his head, being like, "This idiot hillbilly from Missouri thinks he's got it all figured out," and he couldn't be further from the truth. But we'll find out. That's the other reason I wanted to post on the community page his link, because that's a really good guy. If you guys like tree work and you like just an all-around hard-working human being that has class, which I don't mean that in a weird fancy way, but like respect, morals, and doesn't play the YouTube game, Reg is the dude. He's the man. Man, my eyes are all messed up. Let's start wearing my glasses more. Think we get any rain? I had a run on Pine and still feel like Spider-Man. Phew, shoot. Did you guys see the Pine Dan was just in? That was nuts, Dan. That thing was deader than a doornail. The Bulldog Bone has minimal sit back, like the Gree without the lever. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Personally, I think the lever is a great idea. Um, but I think forcing you to compact the system could be safer, but in certain situations, because you just run it up against something, it compacts and it slips. So, but usually if you're coming down, things won't catch it. I don't know. I don't know which would be better. I mean, I really like the Grease configuration, the way it is, how absolutely small it is, how fast it can be hooked up, how effective it is, how easy it is to use. But it feels to be a bit weak, janky, as far as like it feels almost cheaply made sometimes. So that device that's coming out from Stein doesn't seem cheaply made at all, and I'm sure it's going to be very expensive. So I know, Dan, me too. We just need to find somebody to buy us both bones. We both need one. Me and Dan both need Bulldog bones. When I was thinking about buying one a while back, I couldn't get one, and they just you couldn't get it. So I tried. So I imagine now you probably can. So the Bulldog Bone can get a little grippy on descent, but I have been able to tweak the friction device to minimize it. That's cool. That's cool. Well, it's kind of probably like the Gree because the way that the rope is running, you have to almost. I know this sounds silly, but even when you're swinging, if you was to lift your hips up and kind of relieve a little bit of pressure as you go to hit the trigger, it runs smoother. Now, if you just keep dead weight into it, it gets a little bumpier. So I don't know if that helps. I don't know if that makes sense either. If a lot of this stuff, I watch it back and I'm like, you didn't make any sense. I saw Reg's video today. The end revealed that his device has a really smooth. Yeah, yeah. Did you see how incredibly smooth that was? It didn't jerk, bounce. It was. I seen the little bit of effort that he had to use to engage and make the movement. I seen when you're out on a limb, being able to quickly tend slack and get your hands back to where you can grab control is so important. You're climbing out on a limb and you start to get slack in your rope. You don't want to have to hold yourself with one hand for a long time to be able to tend the slack. You want to be able to reach back, pull, and be done. So you seen him doing a lot of that too, which was really cool. Yeah, I wanna know more, Dan. I wanna know more. He's got to tell us more. He just teased the hell out of us this time. Thank you, Dan. The hitchhiker has a has zero setback. Really? Well, that has to is okay. Is the hitchhiker intended to be used with one specific knot? Yeah, and you know what? If you notice, in the knot that they tell you to use with the hitchhiker, you see how many wraps are on top, and there's not a bunch of crisscrossing on the knot that gets used. The crossing, where you do three on top, and you cross and you cross and you cross and you cross, all that crossing is set back. Now, where you took one, two, three wraps, there's no setback there. So that does make sense. The hitchhiker doesn't have the setback that the wrench would have, and if you use the right knot with less the crisscrossing, there's less setback to it. That does make sense. I'm sure there's got to be some with the knot to get used. So, but it's probably so little that you don't even feel it because a little bit of setback is okay. You tend to slack up and as you go to set weight into it, you don't want to be setting and have your knees at a crazy bend before you finally get some, because then you got to pull back up and be like set back down so you're level. But it's where an adjustable bridge kind of comes in with some guys. Something I watch haven't used other mechanical devices though. Well, most of them go off the lines of other ones. I think the one that's really intriguing to me, other than what I've been talking about, is the Unisender. So, I do wonder how the device would handle tree sap. Yeah, anything that does have a loaded cam is gonna be kind of tough on the tree sap. Um, and causing heavy bends in the rope is what the other devices do. They're able to hold your weight because they cause sharp, heavy bends in the rope where the pins are at. So those sharp, heavy bends are only usable because you can get smooth movement down the rope. So then when you introduce sap, then you start getting the stop and the where it gets caught up. And I can only imagine. I don't do a lot of sap though, so a guy like Dan would probably know a lot more about that. I know, Dan, we do need that stuff. I don't understand why it's taking so long. Let's start a GoFundMe to get Bulldog Bone. I've never done a GoFundMe, and everyone else seems like they have one on their page on Facebook when I get on it. So, I'll get on Facebook. Yeah, BTS, stop all the time, that Reggie. Yeah, so that's probably been thought about. You know, I guarantee you the things that weren't right about the akimbo, where I feel like they rushed the akimbo to try to get it out too quick. That's why you ran into troubles with the attachment point for slack tending, um, the adjusters. I mean, I think they were recalled at one point. They came out too soon. So, Reg will approach this with Stein. I guarantee you there's been so much testing and stuff done. It's not a race when it comes to them. It's just not. But and there's a lot of other devices out there. Camp makes some stuff that, you know, there is new devices being used out there, and there's a lot of crossover with some companies when it comes to rock climbing. So, you know, tree climbing, rock climbing aren't the same, but there is a lot of crossover that can be used. So, all the parts on the Bulldog Bone. Oh, that's cool. And available, you can only get them directly from Gordon. Really? Right on. See, I guess Gordon was like swamped when I was looking to get one. They were like on back order for like, I don't know, a long time. So it was even like told like just leave him alone for now. He's not doing it anymore because it was really popping off there for a little bit. And then you got all the where Notch takes everybody's devices and ideas and slaps their name on it. So I don't know. I don't know. I think it's silly. You know, you have the X rings that are such an improvement in tree work that were made by JD, the X Man, and then I feel like then he came up with different sizes. Then he came up with the safe block, which is amazing. Then you have an even more of a improvement when you get to Giorgio Fiore, who came up with them monster rings. So you can rig from the inside of the ring, from the outside of the ring. Like those were nuts. And now Notch just slaps their name on everything, which I don't really like. Gotta grub out. I'll watch more. Have a good. Hey, right on, Dan. Stay safe, buddy. We'll catch you. We'll catch you soon. So, all right. Now, let's talk about tree climbing accidents. This will be kind of a this will just be kind of a little topic that we'll discuss. I'll try to think back. I just done I try to think back to doing other things in life, and there's just not much that I've ever. I mean, there is, but like when it comes to drawing anything and like giving any information that's worthwhile, it always comes from tree work for me. Um, I'm not going to tell you how to rebuild your car. I just don't know, you know. Um, but new climbers, when you get into tree work, I was watching a video by Guilty of Treason, and he was working with a guy named Randy. Actually, I don't think his name is Randy. I think his name is, dang it, I can't remember what his real name is. Shoot. But he goes by Randy is the Mandy on Randy's the Mandy, I think, on Instagram. And that dude is cooler than the other side of the pillow. He has an awesome like handlebar mustache, which like when you're cool, and then you throw a handlebar mustache on it, like it bumps you up a couple levels above cool. I couldn't do the handlebars. Like I wish I was that cool. But yeah, they were talking about like most climbers as they start, they get good, and people tell them they're good, you know, and then they stop learning. But like I worked with a guy one time, and he had been a climber before, but he was only a ground guy when I worked with him, and he started with the company. And what had happened with him is he had basically almost been killed up in the tree when he was working for a bigger line clearance company. While I was working with him, they put him up in a tree, and they were trying to do things quick, fast, and in a hurry. So they were cutting humongous leads from down, from at like 30 foot off the ground, cutting enormous sections. Well, unless that section is completely straight or just at a slight lean, you still have compression. No matter how the tree structure really is, you can get a lot of good control by putting your notch and stuff. But when limbs start to go over, you know, a, I would say over 40, after they get over like 20 to 30 degrees with a lean, it's potential for barber chair. So, or split out. So, I think guys just don't think about that. Um, Putting a notch a lot of times is going to be safer than doing just a quick back cut, front cut, snap cut, you know. So this guy was on a very large lead and had decided to cut the whole lead at once. Throws his buck strap around, he's got it locked on, metal core buck strap, and it's got, you know, they make them double sided and real long. I don't think his was very long. Wasn't huge. It was probably extended out. It was like a 10 footer. Maybe he had it to 8 to get around this thing. It was pretty big. So he makes his cut. He doesn't. He puts a very shallow notch, which after it closes, now you're just making a snap cut. So puts a very small front notch. Goes to start making his back cut. It closes immediately, and the tree starts to splinter. Now he's on the back side. The tree starts to barber chair. He's strapped in. It's barber chairing up here, but in a safe spot. It as it separates. Here's the tree. Let's pretend his lines are out. It starts to separate, which takes him and crushes his hips, crushes his chest, and breaks some pieces in his back. And I think luckily he was on like a stem, and he was able to just slide on down. Or they got him somehow out of the tree. They had a bucket truck there, I think is how they got him. But it basically killed the guy. So, cutting a real...
Monster, stop!
Oh my god. So, cutting the enormous pieces really ain't worth it. If it ends up barber chairing, that's where you get that chance. He could have went up and took a bunch of pieces, but that almost killed the guy because he had...
Come out, stop! Do you want to come outside? Shut up.
You gotta do something though.
Not in the face, Michael. Have you hit him right in the face?
Yeah. I didn't, but if you're gonna come over here in the middle of this and that's what we're gonna talk about and have, oh my god, I can't stand this dog. The dude rules my fucking house, and I'm so sick of it. I don't like it. Like, I legit just want to end the live feed right now. Dude has got me so aggravated.
You want a cigarette?
No, I don't.
Right on.
Hey, I am gonna end the live feed. That's just it. I apologize. I'm good. I feel myself I'm aggravated. I'm good. I'll catch you guys next time. Say it.